Yeah. So good morning, guys. Good morning and welcome back. So this is the WhatsApp group for December 2023 batch, guys. Today morning I posted at 8:11 saying that I will I will be late today, and it will start at I will start at 9:15. Okay. So please check your WhatsApp group going forward. Also, please check your WhatsApp group in the morning once around 8 o'clock. Okay. I will be mostly posting around 8 to 8:15. If I can, if I cannot take session for a particular day, or if it is getting late, I'll be posting around 8:15. Okay. 8 or 8:15. Clear, guys? And those who did not confirm your joining, for them I posted in my WhatsApp status. So there is no other option for me. Okay. And please, like if you confirm your joining already, and if you are not added to the WhatsApp group, please let me know. I will add you to the WhatsApp group now.
I am not added, Pawan.
Who is this?
Pradeep.
Pradeep. Okay. Sure. I'll add you to the WhatsApp group if you confirm your joining already. Confirm your joining in the sense like at least like those who paid 5,000 advance fees at least. Those will be added to the WhatsApp group, and fees once paid is not refundable, guys. Okay. So please think twice, then only, make the payment. And again, some people are joining while driving. Today, this morning I observed few minutes back that someone joined while driving on the bike. So please don't do those kind of feeds. So you will get the recorded session anyways if you confirm your joining. So please don't do those kind of adventures, right? And you need to turn on the camera, everyone. Okay, going forward once we start the tool. And I saw one more person lying on the bed and joining the session, right? So to avoid these kind of things, like I will ask you to turn on your camera once we start the tool. If anyone is having any concerns, please let me know. I'll refund your fees now. If anyone is having concerns, or any issues in turning on the camera, or like if you don't want to agree with the terms and conditions, please let me know. I'll refund your fees now itself, because I think I did not share any training material to you yet, right? But once I share the training material, I will not be able to refund the fees. Please note this point, right? I think I did not share this PPT also to you, right? This PPT is also not shared to you yet, isn't it? So once I share the training material, I can't refund your fees, guys. If anyone is having any issues or concerns with the terms and conditions, take your fee refund, and you can please leave the batch now itself. All right. Now today, as discussed, right? So let me open your batch tracker. So we'll discuss what are the different types of performance testing, and if time permits, I will take the assessment as well. So you might have seen this image in my WhatsApp group, or in my Facebook pages and all this, right? In my YouTube channel, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So this I use the same logo for my YouTube channel as well, right? So the reason is like you have all the major types of performance testing in this logo, right? And now let us understand what are the different types of performance testing and which applications require these types of testing. So when you see like those many types of testing, beginners are freshers are like you need not worry that we have to do the no we need don't worry that we have to do these many types of testing, because every application doesn't require all the performance test types. Based on the application and based on the requirement, we need to do only couple of these, not everyone, not all the tests. Clear, guys? First of all, and then let us understand what are the important ones, what are the mostly required types of performance testing. As you see here on the right side, so load testing and soak testing are highlighted in a different color to indicate that these are mandatory for any application. So load testing and soak testing, soak or endurance test, are mandatory for any application. Mandatory types of performance testing for any application. That is why I have highlighted in a different color. Now, what is load testing? Load testing is something which we do with expected or normal user load for 1 to 2 hours, right? Load testing is a type of testing which we do with expected or normal user load for 1 to 2 hours. And soak testing is long duration test. And how long that duration? It depends on the application. Again, It depends on the business hours of the application. Clear, guys? And the next type of testing is stress testing. So we'll discuss in detail, guys. In the next slide, we will discuss in detail what is load testing, what is soak testing. First, let me introduce different types of testing, right? Now, the next type of testing is stress testing. So what is the general meaning of stress, guys? Everyone knows that, right? What is the general meaning of stress?
Giving pressure.
Pressure or more than normal load, isn't it? Right? So stress testing is done with more than normal load on the application. For example, on a travel application during festival days or vacation. So whenever you have if you take a travel application example, like IRCTC or Redbus or Avibus or any other travel applications. So whenever there is a festival or a vacation, so we are having, Christmas vacation now, right? Right now, there may be more number of users who will be trying to book a bus ticket or a train ticket, etc., etc. Isn't it? So whenever we have festival days or a vacation, as there will be more number of users, right, on the application, on any travel application, isn't it? So only those kind of applications require stress testing. Every application doesn't require stress testing. Clear, guys? Every application doesn't require stress testing, isn't it? Suppose there is a GHMC application. Let's say, there is a GHMC application to pay the property tax. Does this application require stress testing? Now, whenever there is a festival or a vacation? No, right? So all applications doesn't require stress testing, isn't it? When is this required? When should we do stress testing for this?
When the last day.
Generally, yeah, on the last day, right? Or, even if you take income tax application. So we mostly do that in last 1 week, there will be more user load, isn't it? So those kind of applications require stress testing, isn't it?
Like tickets booking for the release dates.
Right. Yeah, ticket booking for release date. Yeah, good example. Right. Right now we have a new movie, I think, today or yesterday.
Today.
Right. Okay. Right. So now we know those cinema ticket booking apps will require Book My Show, etc. What are the other websites? Book My Show and
Paytime.
what is that?
Paytime. Paytm.
Paytm. Okay. So those applications will have more than normal load, isn't it? So those applications require stress testing. Those kind of applications require stress testing, isn't it? And now what is spike testing? Spike, what is first of all, what is the general meaning of a spike?
Raise.
Sudden increment.
A sharp
Increment,
increase or a
raise.
sudden increase, isn't it?
Yeah.
A sharp increase or a sudden increase, right? Sharp increase or a sudden increase is called as a spike. Now, which applications require spike testing, guys?
Flipkart, Big
Flipkart,
Billion
whenever
Days,
there is a sale, there
Ama-
will be a sudden increase in the user load, right? On Flipkart or
Amazon,
Amazon or any e-commerce
Great Indian
application,
Sale.
right? Or if you take Tatkal booking, right? For IRCTC. So whenever Tatkal window opens, there will be a sudden increase in the user load, right? And it will be there for only 15 to 20 minutes, isn't it? In that 1 hour window, all the tickets will be over in the first 10 or 20 minutes, isn't it? Or half an hour max. So, but from 10 to 10:30, you'll have a big spike there, right? Isn't it? Now, those kind of applications require spike testing as well, right? And volume testing. Volume testing is done with, volume testing is nothing but it is a load test with expected load and huge volume of data in the database. Huge volume of data means huge number of records in the database. Huge number of records in the database. Wait, please wait, let me. Huge number of records in the database, right? So that is volume testing. And next, scalability testing is testing an application to verify how much it can scale, right? This is testing an application for future user load. Scalability testing is nothing but it is testing the application for future user load. Okay. So scalability testing is testing an application to verify how much it can scale. Guys, by the way, those who are joining online, are you seeing a full screen, guys?
Yes, sir. We
Yes,
are seeing
sir.
full screen.
Yes, sir. Full screen.
Make sure that you are seeing
Yes,
full
we are
screen.
seeing.
Okay.
Yes.
There should be an option to view the full screen. Otherwise, it will be difficult to follow, right? And then there are few more types of performance testing called as failure testing and capacity testing. Right? There are few more applications. There are few more PT types called as failure testing and capacity testing. Again, as we said, discussed, right? Every application doesn't require all these types of testing. So, however, load testing and soap testing are mandatory. And this is one of the important interview question. What are the different types of performance testing? Let me write it down that question in your class notes. And did I share the class notes? Those who did not receive class notes, please ping me, guys. I'll share this also. Please ping me in WhatsApp separately, those who did not receive the class notes. I'll also check from my side after the session. So one of the important interview question is, what are the different types of performance testing? Right? Or else they may ask you, they can also ask like this. What are the different types of testing you did in your projects? Different types of performance testing you did in your projects. Any of your projects, okay, or your current project. Can I ask you, in current project, what are the different types of performance testing you are doing, right? Now, what would be your answer, guys?
Load test. Load.
Test and soak test are soak or endurance test, guys, right? Second one is soak or endurance test. Endurance means longer duration, right? Endurance means longer duration. And how long that duration is depends on the business hours of the application. What is meant by business hours of the application? Yes.
Till the time the traffic is on the track.
Business hours
users are
means
trying.
how many hours the application will be used, isn't it? How many hours that application will be used per day, right? That is called as business hours, isn't it? Suppose if you take, any bank, let us take a banking scenario. Okay. If it is a net banking application, it will be used from morning to evening. Yes or no? If it is a net banking application, of course, some may be using in night also, but there will be less user load at that time, isn't it? But generally from morning 7 or 8 o'clock to till 10 or 11 in the evening, you'll have more user load. But if you take, an application used by bank employees, okay, by the way, so suppose, if you take ICICI Bank example, let's say, okay. So as an end user, we will be using this website, ICICIbank.com. Net banking users will be using this website, ICICIbank.com. Now, if you go to a bank to deposit or withdraw cash, will the bank employee also use the same application? No, right? So what application does they use? They will use some desktop application. They will use some desktop application, right? So this is web browser-based application, isn't it? Or web application. This is a web application. Clear, guys? I'll write it down here. Next, another important entry question, guys. What is thick client application or a desktop application? Okay. What is a thick client application or desktop application? Okay. Now you need to know the difference between thick client versus thin client. Thick client versus thin client. So what is the difference? So observe here, thick client means desktop applications are also called as thick client, whereas thin client means web applications. Okay, please note it down, guys. If you are taking running notes, please note it down. Desktop applications are called as thick client applications, whereas web applications are called as thin client applications. So web applications means all the browser-based applications. Okay, these are browser-based applications. These are called as thin client, whereas what is desktop application? Thick client is called as, which applications are called as thick client? Desktop applications are called as thick client. Okay, can you give some example for this? This web-based and desktop application. Can you give some example for web-based and desktop
Zoom,
applications which you are
Zoom
using
meeting,
daily?
Zoom meeting.
Right.
Google Meet.
Perfect. So Zoom meeting, we are, most of you are joining this sessions through a Zoom meeting, right? So are you joining through a, like when you join online, are you joining through a browser or you installed Zoom meeting on your system?
Browser.
Installed.
Install Zoom.
You
Okay.
can both.
Some people
You can
are
do both.
joining through browser, right? So those people who are joining through browser are using a thin client application, sorry. Thin client, right? Why? And I started, I always start Zoom meeting using this Zoom client software installed on my machine. Okay. This is a desktop application, or it is also called as thick client application. Why it is called as thick client, guys? Because these desktop applications require CPU, more memory, and more disk utilization on the system, isn't it? But when you are joining, you can join the same meeting through a web-based application also like this. Go to zoom.us and you can join, click on join, and you can enter the meeting ID here and you can join from a browser as well. So this is called as, when you are joining through a browser, that is called as thin client application. Thin client. Why it is called as thin client? We did not install the browser for Zoom meeting only, isn't it? We did not install anything separately. If you are joining from a browser, it will not take any additional CPU or any additional memory utilization. Okay. Like more memory, more CPU, like a desktop application. So that is why this is called as thin client. Understood the difference, guys? So now coming back to ICICI Bank examples, so most of the users who are using net banking, all the users who are using net banking, all the users who are using net banking will use ICICIbank.com, which is it a thin client or thick client? Thin client, right? But if you go to bank to deposit or withdraw cash, does the bank employee use the same ICICIbank.com website? No, right?
No, sir.
They will use some core banking application. They will use some core banking application. They will install or they will get it installed on their desktop and they will be using that core banking application. Clear, guys? Which is called, we call those applications, those kind of applications as thick client applications. Clear, guys? All right. Now, why did we come to this topic is, so net banking application will be used from morning to evening, yes or no? We'll have most of the user load from morning 8 o'clock to morning 7 o'clock to night 10 or 11, isn't it? Most of the user load will be there. But that desktop application, will they use it from morning 7 to even night 11? Right? They will start using only after 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, according to their banking hours, isn't it? So by the time by 4 o'clock, if the bank time is 4 o'clock, right? They will at least, shut down the cash counters, of course. They will go, they will not allow anyone after that, isn't it? So, or they'll by 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, if you take a government bank, they'll shut down by 4 o'clock. Yes or no? Sharp 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Right? So those are called as business hours. So let us take a government bank. Okay. Because private banks, I have few of my friends who are working in HDFC Bank. He is my classmate, MCA classmate. Okay. He goes to the office in the morning at around 9 or 10 and he stays in the office till 10 o'clock, night 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Okay. So, back end job. He's doing a back end job. Okay. They will be using, of course, they will be using till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Got it? And now, so, but if you take a private bank, government bank, right? They start at 10 o'clock. If their timings are 10 to 5, they start at 10 and close by 5. At any cost, they will not work after 5. Isn't it? Yes or no? So their business hours are from 10 to 5 only. Now you understood what is meant by business hours. Business hours of the application they are using, right? That core banking application they are using. And India, most of the banks use a core banking application called, there is one core banking application developed by Infosys. Anyone? Some of you may be knowing that.
Infinity.
Is it Infinity or Finacle?
Pinnacle is also there.
Finacle is the core banking solution developed by Infosys.
Yeah.
Okay, it is a core banking solution that enables banks with digital banking functionalities, and it is developed by Infosys. Clear, guys? Most of the banks will be using this Finacle application, desktop application. See, you can see here, Finacle is widely used by banks across 100 countries, it seems. Nice, right? So it is widely used by banks across 100 countries. This is a product from Infosys. Okay, anyways. So depending on the type, depending on your application or the project, like the business hours varies and your duration varies here. Your soak test duration varies. Clear this. Now they will ask you, like, if you kept a banking application or, if whatever, you keep any project, they'll ask you, like, how many hours are you doing soak test? First, they will ask what are the different types of testing that you are doing. Suppose if you say load test and soak test, then they will ask you, like, how much duration are you doing that load test, and how much duration do you follow for soak test? Clear guys? So, and that duration can be like 4 hours or 8 hours or 16 hours or 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Right? Now, what is the purpose of soak test and all? We'll discuss that in the coming up session. Why 2 days and 3 days? Why should we do, soak test for 16 hours or, 24 hours? We'll discuss that in the coming up slide. Are we good here, everyone? Do you remember at least these types of testing, different types of testing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now
Yes.
let us discuss in detail now each of these types of testing. The next slide is dedicated for load test, soak test, and stress test. So first of all, we will start with load test because load test is the first and foremost type of testing that you have to do, performance testing that you have to do, right? Before doing any other type of performance testing, first you need to do load test, and then only you need to think about soak or endurance test. Clear guys? Now, what is load test? Load testing generally simulates current user load on the system or normal user load on the system. Current user load or normal user load on the system, right? And we do it for 1 to 2 hours, usually done for 1 to 2 hours, right? And load test ensures that the application is stable and can handle expected peak load. And it is the mandatory test that should be done prior to any other performance test type, right? This is the first and foremost type of performance testing that should be done before any other type of testing. Clear this? So that is why, when you answer this question in the interview, be careful that you first start with load test and then say soak test. And then you should say stress spike and all this, right? Some people, no matter how many times I tell this, they will start with the stress and spike. Okay, start with load test and then soak test and then speak about stress and spike testing. Okay, so because this is the mandatory test that should be done to any other prior to any other performance test type. Okay, and the next one is so this is simple to understand, right? Load test is something which we do with expected user load or normal user load for 1 to 2 hours. That's it. If you remember that, that is enough. What is the purpose of doing load test? Is the application stable under the expected user load? Clear? And next, the next type of testing is endurance test, soak or endurance test, right? So this is conducted for longer durations based on business hours of the application, as I mentioned before. For example, some projects they do for 4 hours, some projects they do for 8 hours, and then 16 hours, 1 day or 3 days also. Why 1 day and 3 days? So if you want to understand that, first of all, you should understand what is the objective of doing this soak test. What is the main purpose of doing this soak test is to identify memory leaks or to identify performance bottlenecks like memory leaks or connection leaks when an application is used continuously for longer duration. Okay. 1 second, please. Sorry, guys. Okay. So These kind of applications require, which kind of applications require soak or endurance test case? I'll repeat it for recording purpose. Which kind of applications require soak or endurance test? So WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram, right? Twitter, these kind of applications require soak or endurance test for 1 day continuously, 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, because those kind of applications are used by users across the world, isn't it? Right? So when I worked for Bank of America, so I worked for one of my project is like previous experience was in Bank of America. Okay. So we used to do, see, when I worked for this Bank of America, I worked for payments application. So payments application is used by, it is used by, Bank of America is into wholesale banking. Okay. And they do salary processing for Apple, Accenture kind of companies. They do salary processing, payroll processing. Got it? Now, like that application will be used continuously. By the time users in US stop using it, users in Canada or, some other country will start using it. Or UK, right? Or some other kind of region will be using it. Because it is a, like Bank of America operates from multiple countries. I think like around 40 or 50 countries. Okay. So we used to do like a soak test for 16 hours or 24 hours. What it is? Now, the next type of testing is stress testing. So stress testing is done by gradual increase of user load until the application breaks. See, stress general meaning is more than normal load, isn't it? More than normal load is called as stress, isn't it? So stress testing is done by gradual increase in the user load until the application breaks. Application breaks means, how do we know that an application breaks? If application started throwing errors or there are high response times, isn't it? Then we determine that, then we conclude that application reached its breaking point. Okay. So stress test is done by gradual increase of user load until the application breaks. And main purpose of stress testing to identify an application's breaking point. Clear, guys? And breaking point, once breaking, how do you determine that breaking point is reached is your response times will increase, error count increases. Your response times increase and error count increases. Then you conclude that application has reached its breaking point. Clear, guys? So, that is the purpose of stress test. And now I'll take 10 more minutes, guys. Okay. So I want to complete this spike test and complete that exercise as well. Okay. Now, what is spike testing? The next type of testing is spike testing. So spike testing is done by sudden increase in the user load. Spike means a sudden increase or a sharp increase or a sudden increase, isn't it? So spike testing is done by sudden increase in the user load beyond expected load for shorter duration. And how long that increase should be there is only for a shorter duration, for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Clear, guys? And then it can be considered as a subset of stress testing, of course. In stress testing also, we increase the user load, but we gradually increase that. Here we increase suddenly, isn't it? In spike testing, if you want to do spike testing, we have to increase the load suddenly. So if you take IRCTC application, suddenly at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, you will have big spikes. Yes or no? Isn't it? Right? And now the next type of testing is volume testing. Volume testing is done to verify the response times when there is huge volume of data in the database or huge number of records in the database. If there are huge number of records in the database, your database may become slow. Yes or no? Right? So to test that those kind of scenarios, volume testing is done. It is also called as flood testing. It is also referred as flood testing. And volume testing is done to analyze the system performance. Let me use, Spotlight or something. So volume testing is done to analyze the system performance by increasing the volume of data in the database. Volume of data is nothing but number of records in the database. It is done to analyze the system performance by increasing the volume of data. Volume of data means nothing but number of records, right? Suppose in the database you are having 1000 records. Obviously, if you fetch for the, then where does this database come into picture, guys? So for that to understand, you need to understand the application architecture diagram, isn't it? So any web application, this is a typical architecture of any web application. You will have, users may be using multiple browsers like this, right? Chrome or Firefox or, Edge browser. Now Internet Explorer is replaced by Edge, right? So Edge browser or Chrome or, Firefox. And, like this application will be, any typical web application will be having web server, app server, DB server, database server, or your data will be stored in the database server, isn't it? Now, assume that, there are, it is a new application and there are less number of records. Obviously, it will work faster when there are less number of records. But when there are lakhs of records, if you do some query on the database, it will take some time, right? Isn't it? Now, if there are lakhs of records, how is the database responding, right? We need to test that, isn't it? So that is why we do this volume testing. Volume testing is done to analyze the system performance by increasing the volume of data in the database, right? The next type of testing is scalability testing. It is to identify if the application is capable to scale up in terms of user load, right? So in 2020 or 2022, like Facebook has 20 million users, it seems. Now it may be having 40 million users or 50 million users, right? Because everyone is having a smartphone, isn't it? Everyone is using Facebook or WhatsApp and all this, right? So obviously, any applications, these kind of successful applications will have increase in the user load year by year or month by month, isn't it? Right? So scalability testing is performed to identify if the application is capable to scale up in terms of user load, whether it can support that increase in the user load or not, right? So that is the purpose of scalability testing. The last type of testing, or one more type of testing is failover testing. Okay, there is failure. What is failover testing? So failover testing is used to verify the application's ability to continue day-to-day operations while the processing part is transferred to a backup environment. Do you understand anything? Do you understand anything on failover testing? Okay. Understood anything, guys, from this statement? Say yes or no, please.
No,
Read
sir.
the
Data
statement.
will be transferred to the backup environment.
Okay, let me explain with some example, guys. Okay, let me explain with some example. Okay, so any web application will have a main environment and a backup environment. Main environment and a backup environment. What is meant by environment? First of all, environment means a computer or a group of computers on which your application is running. That's it. Test environment, production environment, this kind of. Now, what is the purpose of backup environment? So if you remember, like last year or before last year, we had floods in Chennai, right? And Mumbai, right? Right? And most of the Indian companies are having headquarters in Mumbai. Yes or no? If someone is using on-premise application, if they are using on-premise, right? Whenever there is a natural calamity like this, floods or this kind of situation, right? There may be power supply and internet outage for days together. Yes or no? Yes or no? So we had floods in Chennai and Mumbai last year and before last year. And we got a Hudud Tufan in Vizag. Suppose a company headquarters is in Vizag, all their servers are in Vizag. And we don't have power or we don't have internet for couple of days, isn't it? But the business should continue, right? Rest of the world is as usual. So their business should continue, isn't it? So for example, State Bank of India is having headquarters in Mumbai. Of course, 5 years back. Now they might have moved to cloud. 5 or 10 years back, they had an on-premise application only. Now, if there is a natural calamity like floods in Mumbai, what happens? There will be no power, right? Even though they have a backup, it will come for 1 day or 2 days, not more than that, isn't it? Even though there is power, if there is no internet, no use of that, right? Isn't it? Now, for that to address that issue, but rest of the world is working as usual, yes or no? Right? So their banking operation should be, their website should be available up and running throughout the country, and their core banking application also should be available, because all other banks in other cities are working as usual, isn't it? They should not get interrupted, yes or no? So for that, what they do is, for every, previously, of course, right now we have cloud based, most of the applications are cloud applications, isn't it? Now, Now, when you have this kind of scenario for any environment, they used to set up a backup environment in some other location, some other geographic location, some other city. Got it? So that is backup environment. See, for example, again, if you take, right now, if the main environment is down for some reason, now, the application should be working on the backup environment. The users who are using that application should be able to use the application through the backup environment. Yes or no? That is the purpose of the backup environment, right? Suppose if you want to have uninterrupted power supply at your home, right? What do? You go for an inverter, isn't it? Let us understand what is that failure testing. Okay. So you buy an inverter and you get an electrician to install it, isn't it? Now, you will ask him, electrician will ask you, what are the important electrical points you want backup? Yes or no? You will not have backup for AC and geyser and all this, right? But they will give you for limited number of points. They will tell you like this backup, this battery and inverter works for these many connections. Which one you want to connect, isn't it? So you will give, your preferences, right? And now you have a main environment, that is mains power and a inverter. Okay. Now before you let him go, before you make payment to him, right? What does he do, guys? After installing the inverter, what does he do? To test it, he need to test it, right? So to test it, what does he do? Yes. He'll switch off the mains power, right? He'll switch off the mains power and see if all the electrical points or backup points are working or not. Yes or no? So in the same way, in failure testing also, we start the load test and we bring down the main environment. We stop the servers in the main environment and verify whether your backup environment is able to take that load or not, user load or not. Clear, guys?
So
that
basically,
is-
we are testing the backup environment in this, sir.
What is that?
So basically, we will be testing the backup environment and not the main.
No, we will start testing on main environment. We'll start
Oh.
testing on main environment. After some time, bring down the servers in the main environment. Now
Okay.
all the user load should go to the backup environment. And whenever the main environment is down, now that user load should come to main environment because backup environment will be small in size. The capacity of the backup environment will be limited. Yes or no? Right? So we need to test to whether that failover is happening or not. Failover means if main environment is up and running, user load should go to main environment. If it is down, user load should go to backup environment. Again, once the main environment is up, right, user load should not go to backup environment if the main environment is up and running. Now it should, suppose see, if power is off, there is a power outage. Your electrical point should work on the inverter. But once the power is restored, they should work on the main environment or mains power, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not work on
Yeah.
inverter. They should not draw power from the backup or inverter battery, isn't it? Right? Now this type of testing is called as failure testing, as simple as that. Understood, guys? So remember this as mains power. Main environment is like mains power. Mains power versus this is inverter. Clear, guys? So
Yes, sir.
testing this kind of, doing this kind of testing is called as failure testing. Okay. Now, guys, 10 to 11:30 a.m. batch. Sorry for the delay. So I'll start like around 10:15. Okay. I'll start in 5 minutes, guys. Okay. But we'll complete the JMeter load test today as planned. All right. So it got, it got prolonged. I know that. So we'll complete it at any cost. So, for you batch only for your, I thought of skipping session today, but actually I want to complete the test executions for today for October batch. Okay. We are targeting to complete this JMeter by end of this month. So I want to complete this smoke test today at least. A smoke test we have done yesterday, right? Yesterday we did a smoke test, isn't it? Today we'll do a load test. Yeah, we'll see how to create a load test scenario and checklist. We'll do that. And I want to complete this JMeter by end of this month. Okay. So for your batch only, I can skip the session for this batch. So till now, 62 hours of training is completed for JMeter batch. So we'll have another 10 or 15 hours easily. Okay, I'll take sessions on holidays if required. I'll take sessions on holidays or Sundays, and we are targeting to complete JMeter batch by end of this month. Okay. All right then. So please stay back, guys. I'll start your session in 5 minutes. All right. Now, any queries, guys? Now coming back to this morning batch, new batch. Any queries now?
So
Sir,
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, can I go, sir? Jayesh here.
Sorry.
Can I go ahead with my question?
Now I'm asking, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, so scalability testing is also similar to stress testing. There also we are trying to find the breaking point by increasing the load, and for scalability also we are kind of doing the same testing. Or
Yes.
will it be different?
So scalability testing is generally done for these Facebook or these kind of WhatsApp or these kind of applications. So basically, what is the purpose of scalability testing is like suppose like right now, let's say how many users are using WhatsApp. Let us check that. Users in world 2023, right? 2.78 billion users are there, it seems. Okay, and a rise of 15% will be there from 2022 to 2023. It increased by 15%. Okay, now but from 2023 to 2024, let's assume that there will be 20% increase. When you are doing scalability testing, you will do with that 20% only. Understood, guys? But stress testing we will do till the application breaks.
Okay, understood.
What is that?
Okay, understood.
sir, what is the difference between spike and stress? Both are same, right?
Spike testing, we increase the user load for only shorter duration. Only for a shorter duration. And it is a sudden increase. We do a sudden increase. Whereas stress testing is done by gradual increase of user load. And we will continue it. This is not for shorter duration. We'll gradually increase the user load till the application breaks.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So shall we move to the assessment now? I'll show you some graphs and you need to identify what type of testing does each graph best represents. Okay. What type of test each graph best represents. And remember, in interviews, they will ask you to draw the graph. They will not draw the graph and they will ask you like this. Right. But anyways, let us see like now. Let me explain, first of all, let me explain this graph. Okay. Most of you know this, but there are some non-computers guys as well, non-computers background guys also as well. You see here on this is called as x-axis, that horizontal line, that is called as x-axis. And on x-axis, we are representing, what are we representing here? It is representing test time or test duration. Clear, guys? X-axis is representing test duration and y-axis is representing virtual users, means number of users on the application. And there is something called 1H here. Okay. There is something called 1H. 1H for one. Okay. Now, any guess what type of testing is this?
Load.
Uniform load
This
test.
graph best represents the load
Load
test.
testing.
Basically, 1H means 1 hour. 1 hour here, right? So we are increasing the user load. And see, and now I need to explain this. What is this? So why the graph is like this? And what is the, let me explain this. So this is called as ramp up. We are ramping up the users, means we are slowly increasing the user load. And here, this is called as steady state. This is called as steady state. Why this is called as steady state? There is no increase in the user load. And then we are ramping down the users. So this is ramp up, steady state, ramp down. Clear, guys? Is it clear, guys? This is steady state.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is called as ramp up. From here to here, this is called as ramp up.
Ramp up.
Okay, this is called as ramp up. And this is called as ramp down. This period is called as ramp down. Okay. We'll discuss this again. Once we complete the scripting, we'll discuss this again. Okay. But I want you to understand because you need to understand the graphs that are that will be shown in the next couple of slides. Right? Now, shall I clear this? Now let's move on to the next one. Now, what type of test does this graph represents?
Spike.
Spike test.
Trace.
Right.
Stress.
This represents a spike test. If this graph represents stress test, now what type of test does this graph represents?
Yeah, this is stress.
Someone told that this is stress test. Then what is this?
This
No, this one is stress.
This one is stress.
Right? So this is stress test because we are gradually increasing the user load. Observe here, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
We are
Yes.
gradually increasing the user load, isn't it? We ramped up the users, maintained some steady state, again ramped up the users. We are increasing the user load, again maintaining some steady state to give some applications some breather time. Okay. And then again we are increasing the user load, again we are maintaining steady state. So we are gradually increasing the load. Right? This graph, see, that is why I mentioned you need to identify what type of test does a graph best represents. That's why I use the term best represents. Got it? So this graph best represents a spike test, isn't it? There is a sudden increase and for shorter duration only, observe here. This is not there, for longer duration. Yes or no? Right? Whereas here, we are increasing the user load gradually. So this graph best represents a stress test. This one represents stress test and this one represents
Spike.
spike test, isn't it? So remember like this, assume that this is your IRCTC application. So 10 o'clock Tatkal and 11 o'clock Tatkal. Can we assume like that? Right? Okay. And then what does this graph best represent?
Endurance.
Endurance test, because you see here duration as 5 hours, isn't it? Duration, you see test duration is 5 hours. Okay. And until all these graphs on y-axis, you are seeing virtual users. Now, what type of test does this graph represent? So observe here,
Volume.
on y-axis, we have data quantity.
testing.
Volume.
Volume testing. This graph best represents volume testing because we are
Data
increasing
quantity.
the volume of data, right? You see here, this line represents that. This line represents increase in the data volume or number of records over time, isn't it? So this graph best represents a volume test. Okay. Wonderful, guys. Okay, I'll stop it here for today. We'll continue tomorrow.
Sir, one last question, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, on 43rd, yeah, the same slide, instead of data quantity, had it been virtual users, this graph would represent a maybe.
No, this graph doesn't represent anything. If you change it to users, okay.
Okay.
So if you are increasing the user load, this is how you do. When you are doing a load test, this is how you do. Because all the users will not start using at once, right? Suppose if you take WhatsApp example, right? I wake up at 6 o'clock or 6:30. You may be waking up at early or later than me, right? So you'll not use at once, isn't it? Everyone will not wake up at once at 6 o'clock and start using WhatsApp, right?
Right.
Right. Any application, not only WhatsApp, you take any application. So morning slowly, like user load increases slowly in the morning. And then it will continue for a couple of hours, isn't it?
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
All right. So we'll stop it here, guys, for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. I am closing the meeting, guys. I'll close the meeting, guys. Next batch, guys, please rejoin. I'll close the meeting. Okay, so that this recording will get converted. And yeah. And we will soon stop the demo sessions, guys. Those who joined late are into this batch. Any new joiners today? No, I don't see any new joiners at least now. All right then. I'm closing the meeting, guys. We'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow in the sense, tomorrow is Friday, right? Saturday, right? Tomorrow is Saturday, right? Okay, I'll inform it in the WhatsApp
sir.
group, yes, okay? Maybe I may not be able to take session tomorrow. So we'll continue back from Monday. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys, I'm closing the meeting.